Alright, well, I think I got the phone set up here so I can actually make a video. I put a new internet security thing, you know, like Norton, only it's called Kaspersky. Anyway, I put that on my computer, and I forgot I had it set up so that the webcam couldn't be accessed from anybody outside, and I forgot how to turn it off so that I can use my webcam, so now I'm using the phone camera. But tonight's video is going to be a little different than usual. I had asked CreepyCorners about her vape story, which electronic cigarette vapor, and I had never done a vape story of my own, so I'm going to do my vape story here. So I had been watching Irene. What was her username on YouTube? Irene K? I'm not sure. Not Tweetness, but the other Irene. And I've been watching her videos, and she had done, no, she never talked about vaping, but she always was vaping in some of her videos. And I was like, what is that? You know, and so then, you know, I private messaged her, and she told me about it. And she did an internet search for me and told me where I could find some vape stuff in my area, which was pretty cool, because when she told me about that, it was pretty early on, and not terribly early on, but in this area there were like 2 vape stores in this area, like within an hour and a half from where I live. So it was very cool that she told me about that. Anyway, so I decided one day my friend and I were going to an auction in the area within 5 minutes of one of the vape stores. And I said, hey, let's check that out, because cigarettes were getting really expensive. And I was like, you know, if I could do that part of the time, I could save some money. And so I did. I went down there, and here is my first setup. And I don't know if the battery's dead or not. Oh, no, it's not dead. Hear it crackle? So you would, I don't really think there's anything in there. Oh, there is. That's a homemade flavor. Not sure what it is, but it's a flavor I made. Anyway, so like CreepyCorners was showing you, this is the battery part. And then this, the liquid goes in here, and then there's a little thing inside called the coil, and that heats up when the battery makes contact. It heats up, and the liquid that's in here heats up and makes the vapor. Anyway, so this was my first one, and I used that, oh gosh, I don't know, for a while. But the problem with this one was you had to take this off and screw this little thing in here, and then plug that little thing into a little box and plug that box into the wall, you know, like a phone charger box kind of thing. So you couldn't use this whole thing while this was charging. And I was enjoying this, and so I went to get another one, and I was like looking around in the vape store, and they showed me this one. Okay, that was like dominoes going everywhere, and the top of this just fell off. Anyway, so they showed me this one. Let me take this off of here and show you. Okay, that piece is stuck. Anyway, it's just a beauty ring. This is the battery, and I have a cover on it, a little sticky cover. This is the battery. In here, it would tell you, I'm not sure that it has any charge left to it. Yeah, it's dead. Anyway, does it go that way? Yeah. This would tell you like what your voltage was or your wattage and how many puffs you took and all that kind of stuff. But with this one, you could put this little charger thing in it, just like a Android phone, and you could use it in what they called bypass mode, which was you could be plugged in and charging and using it at the same time. And if I could get this top piece off, I could show you. Okay, anyway, you could, the tank would go on top with the coil inside there, and you put the liquid in, and then you would be, the other piece fell on the floor, but it's a little cap like what's her face had, but then you would, you know, be able to use it while it was charging. So that was my second one, and I kept going to that vape store for a while, and I had heard about what they called dripping, and when I first went and heard about it, I was like, oh, that's just too much fiddling around for me. But in reality, it wasn't too much fiddling around for me, because I'm kind of a like to see how things work, and I wanted to see how this thing worked. So I went back. Well, I wanted to see how the coil aspect worked, and I was interested more in that. And when I was at the vape store, one of the guys let me try out his dripper, and so I got interested in that, and I bought what they called a mod. I think they called them that because somebody originally maybe modified a flashlight to make it into something that would work with this top piece, the tank piece. Anyway, got a hit. So I went to mods and drippers. Now here is one of my favorite mods that I'd used, and basically what you did was, okay, you put a battery inside this tube. I'll show you how that works. Here's the tube, empty, and you would take, it's an 18650 battery, that's the size, you put it in there, put this in here, you put your this is an atomizer, you will put your atomizer on the top. When you push this button, it would fire the atomizer, the coil inside the atomizer. I don't have one in there right now. This is the inside of it. Where's the actual thing? Okay, so you wrap these little, oh, I do have a coil in there. And let's see, is it making contact? Is that battery dead? Oh, that must be a dead battery. Anyway, you see those little coils in there? Those things heat up. You put cotton in them, and they heat up. You put the liquid on it, and it vaporizes it, and you inhale that, and so that's how you get your electronic cigarette from that. So that's what I went to next, and I really enjoyed dripping. This was one of my favorites, and you push the button. The button was on the bottom. And then also, this was one of my favorites, and this one's copper, and it was called the penny mod, and you see it at the bottom, it looks like it has a penny on it. And these things lock, so you can't push the button, but you have to turn that, and then you can push the button. I don't have a battery in here, and I'm almost positive there's no coil built in here. Oh, I'm wrong again. There's a coil built in there, but we're not going to mess with that one. But there's no battery in here. You see, no battery. Okay. So then I met a guy on YouTube who was talking about different products you could buy, and he made, I keep knocking this stuff down, sorry. He made his own box mods, and this one I just threw a sticker on from a vape shop that I ordered some stuff from. But basically, this is the connection up here to the, this is the battery. This is my tank that's on it, and you can see that liquid's very dark because it's old, and the nicotine in it turns dark when it gets older. but you put this on here, push this button, the batteries would make contact, it would fire the coil in there, heat everything up, and produce vapor. And this opened up, and inside you had 2 batteries. So anyway, so that was the next step that I took, and I was still using tubes too, tube mods. Then they came out with what they call regulated mods. These mods were what CreepyCorners showed you in her video, and what I'm going to show you now. And this is an eye stick, and they're a cheap little one, but you can move your this one goes to 30, so you can see it go down. You can make it go back up to 30. That's the wattage, and the higher the watts, the hotter it gets on the coil. And so then you can put a tank, or you can put a dripper on here. But if you put a dripper, you have to be careful, because you have to know what you're doing with the number of wraps, the resistance that you build it on. So there's a little bit of electronic stuff in here too. See, you can hear that one. And that is that tastes like peach rum that I liked and used quite a bit for a while. Anyway, and then this would be a tank on top. And basically, I think Claire talked about those quite a bit too. But the tanks on top, you have to turn it upside down, unscrew it off the mod, turn it upside down, unscrew the bottom, and this is the coil inside. And I need a new one, but it has little wires and organic cotton in there, and the cotton gets wet with the liquid that you put in. The coils heat up, and it vaporizes the liquid and produces the vapor for you. So that's where I went next, was one of these nice little rechargeable, has another USB thing here, so you could recharge it and adjust the wattage a little higher. And then this actually is a later tank that I got. It's called a sub-ohm tank, because it gives you more airflow when you inhale on it than, like, say, the first tanks that I had. Then I moved on up to like I said, this one goes to 30 watts. I had a 50 watt eye stick, which was really cheap, but it died. So then I moved up to the 100 watt dude right here, and I don't think I have batteries in here. No batteries, sorry. But it takes 2 batteries. I have a charger that they're rechargeable, and you put them on there. Anyway, and then I used a dripper. It's just another style dripper on top of here. And each of these things has names. Like, this is a Sigelli 100. This top piece is called the Derringer, because it's tiny and powerful, you know. But this was adjustable from, I think, I don't know if it goes down to 1 watt or not, but up to 100 watts. And yeah, that's about it on that. I liked it so well, I wanted another one, but they had come out with another one, and this is the 150, Sigelli 150, and it does have batteries in it. See, it says Sigelli. Well, it did. Okay, so it tells you on here, focusing, what your wattage is, how many volts you're getting, and there's nothing built on here, so no, I guess there is. 100% battery has 100%, and my build is at 6.6 ohms. And what's in here? I don't remember. I need need to clean them. Anyway, so this is what I moved up to next, and I have had these two right here for over a year. I use them almost all the time. About a month ago, I decided I wanted to get a new one, and they have these new ones out called temperature control mods. So I bought this. It's called the Stride VR80. It's an 80 watt, and some of them are really pretty. Anyway, it only takes one battery as opposed to the other two that take two. So, you know, the battery doesn't last as long as, you know, those ones that take two I can go all day on. This one I, you know, have to switch the battery out half a day. Okay. Okay, so on this one, this is pretty cool. You can change the colors on the screen. So the background is a different color. Like you can make it red and green, purple and green, yellow and blue, whatever you want. Never yellow and blue though. That's Michigan colors. Anyway, temperature control. You have to use special wire. I'll show you what I have in here now. And you can see the two coils. They're kind of dark, and then the cotton going through them. And then it's called a dripper because you take your liquid, and I have this is the liquid I'm using. It's called Cosmic Fog Milk and Honey, and then you drip it on your cotton and your coil. Now with this one, this is my airflow control ring, and I usually leave it on. Actually, with this one, my battery power's low. Okay, I just drip right through the top of here, like that. So that's what I'm using now. But it's temperature control because you can buy special wire, and you can control the temperature that it gets up to, that it heats up to, instead of just relying on the watts or voltage. So you go into, there's little menu screens on here. Like if I go 1, 2, 3, then it comes up with a little menu screen, and you can let's see. Well, I don't have temperature wire, so I'm not even going to try to show you. But you can go down into the menu and change it to temperature control, and it has, I don't know, all these different temperatures that you can pick out, like 200, 400, you know, everything in between. Anyway, so this one I really like. I like the color. It's purple. And it's very satisfying, and I love this flavor. Anyway, so the other thing I was going to say was, when I started out, because I was a heavy smoker, I was using 24 milligram nicotine, and I decided that, well, first of all, like I said, I started out with this just to cut down on my smoking because it was expensive, and I was like, you know, I gotta cut back. I gotta save some money. So, yeah, within a month, I was only smoking the first cigarette of the day, and that was like the only one I couldn't give up. And finally, like after a month, I quit completely. I gave up that first cigarette of the day. And I was going to show you this app on my phone, but I'm taping on my phone, so I can't show you. But I got this app that's called Quit Now, and it tracks like how much money you've saved, how many cigarettes you haven't smoked, how much time you've added to your life, all the health benefits, things like that. It was very cool to see what was going on. But I had started with 24 milligram nicotine because I was such a heavy smoker. And when I switched to dripping, I decided to cut down my, well, I had gradually been cutting down my nicotine in the e-liquid that I bought. And I think I was down to like 12 milligram when I switched over to dripping. And I dropped it down to 3, and now, well, Claire was saying that the ingredients in the e-liquid is propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and flavorings, and nicotine. And so I bought my own vegetable glycerin, and I combine it, and so I buy a bottle of liquid, and then that's 3 milligram, and I add vegetable glycerin, which half and half, which cuts it down to 1.5 milligram nicotine. So essentially, I mean, some of the liquid I buy is 0 nicotine, and I don't have any issue, but some days I just want that little bit, that edge, you know, taken off. So most of the time I'm using 1.5 milligram nicotine, but you know, it's been less than 3 years, and I think that's pretty good, you know. Anyway, so this has gone on for way longer than I intended, but if you're interested in vaping and getting off cigarettes and you want to ask, I'll be happy to answer questions for people. The other thing I want to say is that I want people to know that the FDA is trying to over-regulate the electronic cigarette market, and they're publishing a lot of false information about e-cigarettes and the liquids and stuff, and just know that the money behind that is coming from Big Tobacco, because Big Tobacco is losing a lot of money over you know, people that are giving up smoking and switching to electronic cigarettes, and they've got a lot of money to, you know, to pay the federal government to jump in and, you know, crack down on us, and it's unfair. So if you hear about people who are voting against certain people because of their stance on electronic cigarette regulation, just try to do your own research and not listen to just every little thing you hear. Do your own research and find out what you can, and support, you know, people who want to get off cigarettes and have a safer alternative, because it has been proven to be 99.6% more less harmful than tobacco cigarettes. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. If you have more questions about that, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to answer questions, and hope y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.